And we are live. So, hello everyone. If we'll just give it a few moments for everyone to get in, because last time we introduced ourselves just to each other, really. So it was quite. That's how it was, wasn't it?
Why not? We've got to introduce ourselves to each other now and again.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So let's do it again then. Well, so I'm Itamar Blauer. I'm an SEO consultant and video marketing consultant based in London. And Craig, you can introduce yourself if you want. I'm sure everyone knows who you are and what you do, but go for it.
Yeah, I'm just Craig. I'm a plumber based in Glasgow. Nah, I'm only kidding. Do a bit of digital marketing, and obviously the purpose of today's show is to basically give you guys feedback, input, or whatever you want to call it on your websites. So whether it's a part of your website you want us to look at, a page in your website, or the website in general to get feedback on, and we'll to put your website URL into the live chat so that we can see it, and we'll literally pull it up live and give you some pointers. It's always good to have another set of eyes on stuff. It's obviously completely free of charge, and we'll give you the benefit from our experience. Also, let us know where you guys are. We've got Krishan here, we've got Gagan. So guys, do let us know where you're from. Also, make sure that you do give my channel in particular a like and a subscribe. And Itamar's channel is listed below the YouTube description. If you want to give him a bit of love too, that is always very much appreciated, as we're both trying to grow our YouTube channels and do this to help the audience. So any kind of support in that is much appreciated. So Idris is from Pakistan. I know you guys are probably going to have problems typing in the actual URL because YouTube will filter it out for spam. But what you want to do is just put in something like, Craig Campbell SEO, and then just with a space, and then just write .co.uk or something, or whatever your URL is, and we will for sure allow you to, or go through your website and give you some feedback. But we'll just allow you another minute or so while people are jumping in. Josh, we are definitely live on YouTube because there's people commenting on it. I'm not sure what's going on there. But Itamar, what's new? What's been happening anyway with your week?
What's been happening with my week? Well, it's not been too interesting, to be honest. Just kind of cracking on. Most people are still kind of supposed to be stuck at home, right? So, I can't say anything too interesting has been going on. What about you?
Okay, the same old, just grinding away. It's obviously a boring time of year, obviously, with the coronavirus and everything. So just more videos, more everything, just trying to keep the name out there. So hello Tech Loot, and we've now got it sorted with Josh McAdams. So the first website we're going to have a look at, and wait a minute, who is the other guy? So the other guy is Itamar Blauer. He is a young aspiring SEO starting out in his journey. Well, he's got years of experience under his belt, but starting out in his own, and is based in London, and has a video marketing background, but is looking to expand and get more into SEO as well. So that is a brief bit about Itamar. Very knowledgeable guy, but we'll dive into the first website anyway, Itamar.
Yeah.
Opportunitycircle.com.
Yeah, I'm just typing that in now. And okay, cool. So, all right, let's start this off. I'm going to share my screen and just show what's happening here. So I launched up the website, right? And it's detected my ad blocker. So obviously it wants me to remove the ad blocker, and I can't really do much else, which means that I'll open it up in an incognito. Can you still see my screen there?
Give me 1 second, just a check. Yes. All good.
Right. So the first thing I would say, generally speaking, is if you're forcing people to kind of whitelist or pause ad blockers that people have, that's going to be something that a lot of people will dislike, and I would say a lot of potential visitors are going to bounce right from the beginning before they even see what you're about. So just keep that in mind. Obviously, we've got a kind of pop up here for the push notification, so I'm going to cancel on that for now. And so right from the get-go, so this is about searching your dream opportunity. So this is something about like, some kind of I'd say some mini kind of search engine for educational stuff, so different scholarship courses, this, that, and the other. So you've got quite a lot of things here about funding, country. Right from the get-go, I don't think that it looks particularly bad, right? I mean, I think there's a lot of stuff here, a lot of opportunities. So there is a lot of content on this site already. And yeah, nothing really strikes out apart from that, the ad block thing to begin with. What would you say, Craig?
Yeah, I think the ad blocker is a pain in the backside. I think that's something that you have to consider when you're trying to drive traffic to a website. And obviously from iDres's point of view, he wants to monetize it, but I think you've got to weigh up the pros and the cons. Are you going to have a high bounce rate and less people coming onto your website because of that monetization opportunity right on your homepage, which I think is absolute crazy to do. I think you've got to monetize it somehow because you're not selling opportunities. So I totally appreciate that, but everything else that goes with it, in terms of SEO and these opportunities ranking, all of that kind of stuff is not going to have the biggest impact because people are bouncing away straight away. But that said, the website does get traffic. It ranks for over 4,400 keywords, mainly in Pakistan. And I'm assuming that Pakistan is the main focus. They are building links. They are growing in traffic, growing in keywords. And what I would say to them is probably, your organic traffic's now becoming a bit stagnant and has been since the start of the year. Probably because you're just not building enough links. You've went in, worked hard on the link building side, and then kind of it's fell off, or the quality of links have not been great. Your DR score on Ahrefs is 11, so that would suggest to me that your link building is fairly poor, given that you've got 129 referring domains. So try and up your game on that. I think what you're doing, obviously, in terms of providing opportunities to people in your country to see what scholarships or exchange programs, internships, conferences, and everything. It's a great opportunity because there's a big bad world out there. So I like the concept a lot, and obviously helping your local people. How can you monetize that is the other thing that where you might struggle, because who's going to be paying for all of this? And I get that's why you've got your ads on your homepage, but not sure if there's another way you can monetize that, get a sponsor or something else. But I think you have to look at that, because as Itamar says, it's painful when you go on and you've got ad blockers on and you can't see the website working and stuff, so people will bounce away. So yeah, but it's a nice looking website and I really do like the concept, and it's well laid out and everything, so not too much just insult on the website.
I would just add really quick as well, just making sure that you're checking to see if you've got certain things on. I think obviously this pop-up here, this exit intent pop-up, I mean, there's a lot of empty white space here, so consider changing that up. And also certain categories don't have any there's no content. So for your events and exchange programs, I saw obviously people are coming down here, right? They want to try and find exchange programs. They click it and they can't see anything. So, just making sure that you get these sorted out. And obviously, like Craig mentioned, trying to find a way to kind of monetize this site without having to force people to, turn off the ad block, because that's just something that people see. And even if they're looking for these opportunities, they might just kind of go elsewhere straight off the bat, right? So, finding another way, if you partner with certain people, if you're getting maybe some kind of commission from people who sign up to certain opportunities, then, trying to think of other ways apart from the ads that you've got directly on the site.
Yeah. Oh, good shout. So Alex, we are basically giving people feedback on their websites or parts of their websites if they want us to take a look and have cast their eyes over it and give them some feedback. So if you've got a website, do let us know in the live chat. High trending videos, and Tech Loot wants to know, what age are you, Itamar? I know he looks really old, Tech Loot, but he's actually quite young.
Yeah, I'm almost 22. I'll be 22 next month.
Yeah, so 22. But guys, please do put in the live chat any other websites that you want us to have a look at, and we will certainly have a look at it. iDress, Qureshi, it's seen amazing. So always just getting someone else's feedback on whether your website looks good or not, or what you might want to tweak, or if you got a problematic page or something else, let us know in the live chat there, and we will for sure answer your questions. But I'm just closing down opportunities there. But I quite like that website. The concept was good, like helping other people around you is a great thing to be doing. But the next website we have is reply.io. So let's have a look at reply.io.
Reply.io. All right. Going to share my screen once again. Supercharge your sales team with Reply. So this is a sales engagement platform. So it automates email search and outreach from places.
Hang on a second. If you shared your screen.
Hold on a sec. Oh, I forgot to select which screen. See, that's the problem when you have a dual monitor. There we go. So this is about a platform that does automation in terms of email, LinkedIn outreach, personal emails, calls. So obviously we've got a nice design on this website here with this little animation. We've got the ratings here. We've got some examples of platforms that are using it and telling me more. And there's also an extension. Is that a Chrome extension? Yeah, they've got a Chrome extension as well. So right off the bat, it's quite a nice looking site, to be honest. It looks quite modern, quite minimalistic. I quite like that. We've got obviously a little chat bot there. And obviously, it's quite a standard, SaaS product type of landing page here. Anything you want to add right off the bat, Craig?
I think it's very, very, very hard to critique a website like this. The first thing, and it's just because of the background I've got from a link building background, the first thing I always do with a website is stick it into a tool like Ahrefs or SEMrush, and see, what organic search you've got, how it's been grown over the last few years, what backlinks you've got, and all of that kind of stuff. And obviously with a DR of 72, with a ton of backlinks and over, close to 14,000 keyword ranking, and pretty much trebled your growth this year in terms of organic traffic, I ain't going to slag nothing on that website. But I think what you're saying, Itamar, is 100% correct. It's a clean, clearly very well executed job. I don't think there's too much we can rip into here. Obviously, you've got a great call to action at the top. it does what it says in the tin. Very minimalistic. You've got all your kind of pricing and all of your kind of telling people what your stuff is, and that's it. So I think obviously when it comes to your blog, how to enrich cold outreach, beginner's guide to sales, and all of that kind of stuff, you clearly are trying to rank for certain keywords, long tail keywords and whatnot. You've also got the ultimate list of sales automation tools. So clearly, overall, when you're building your blog and building your long tail keywords, all of that kind of stuff's all being done. And these are all the kind of good things, which is obviously going to see good, solid progression with a website. And as I say, very, very hard to pick holes in someone who's doing something so well. So I like the minimalistic look on a website anyway. Something I'm thinking of doing to my own website. And I think Neil Patel's another guy who at the moment has just quite a clean, I know lots of people say, he's this, he's that, but very clean, minimalistic website and clearly knows what he's doing. So, I think it's a great job, not too much in terms of negative feedback there from just having a quick overview of it.
Mm-hmm.
Can't slag it off. It's a good website.
I think if, obviously if we did a bit more digging with different tools, we might be able to pick up on stuff. But, right off the bat, from a visual standpoint, from a UX perspective, it looks really nice. The only thing that I've picked up here is that the search bar that you have for the blog posts, all the results are going to HTTP. And so when you click it, obviously you've got that redirect to HTTPS. In this example here, there's a redirect loop here as well. So I'd say maybe just tinkering with the code so that the searches from the search bar go directly to HTTPS, just to avoid having these redirects. But other than that, I've got really nothing else to say. I think the site looks really nice, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, good job. Going on, we've got a few highs here. Tyrese, Mrs. Gravesy, Ryan Houghton, Think of Science, and a Facebook user. Not sure who the Facebook user is. Sadly, it doesn't always pull it through, but good to see you all here. You were given feedback and critique on some websites. So if you've got a website, a page, or something that's wrong, please do put it in the chat. CBD Cupcakes is dreaming about being 22 again. Aren't we all? But let's go on to another one, and something that we want to do more of is rip into some web design. So some critique. We are looking to completely redesign your website, which is autoleasing.co.uk. So let's have a look at that. Car and van leasing. So do you want me to go first in this one, Itamar?
Oh, you can go for it. I just shared my screen, so if you want to take over.
You go.
All right. Okay, let's have a look. So, I mean, right off the bat, I can see what you mean when you say redesign the site, because I mean, well, I look at the kind of icon you've got for your site at the top left, and to me that kind of reminds me of like a children's TV show, like those like toy cars, if you know what I mean, like something you'd see like in the children's program. And then I look at the first image you've got there of this BMW, and I'm like, this is the real deal. So, there's a kind of conflict there a little bit from a design perspective. But, let me just scroll down here. Obviously, I think the images could do with some work. I feel like it doesn't speak 2020 to me. If you get what I'm saying, it kind of reminds me like I've kind of gone back, 6 to 7 years, just in terms of the choice of images that you're using. But that's just my personal opinion. Obviously, you've got your lease. It's about leasing cars and this and that I can understand. You've got this kind of widget here. So let's just see if this is working all right. So let's search for an Alfa Romeo. Yeah, so these kind of widgets and stuff, they're doing what they're supposed to do. But I think right off the bat, it's just, I don't know, there's something about that icon that just I'm bothered with. If you see what I mean. What do you think, Craig?
I think if I was being asked for feedback on this particular website, I'll just share my screen. Just give me a second. So obviously, as you say, this is absolute appalling, absolutely appalling. Using a cartoon within a logo. Now, I've also done that. Had a cartoon face, but I think in terms of who's likely to lease a car, businessmen and that type of thing, and I think the cartoon thing's just not going to go very well together. I think, pretty much what you said, Itamar, the further down you go. Now, I hate this font as well. That doesn't have to be like that. I just think the font is not great there. Doesn't need to be like that. Could that have been something that could have been squeezed in on the slider? Probably. And I think just looking at some of your images, they just look as if someone stretched them. Especially this part here where it says no admin fees. Looks like someone's designed a kind of low resolution image and you've just chucked it on there. It just smacks of unprofessionalism, if you like. Just the small things make a big difference. And I think those small touches is what you would do. I mean, clearly the cars look fine. The descriptions, the pricing here and all that stuff all looks spot on. To put the icing on the cake like that is just, not good enough. And, I think, what you've got here in terms of, a page, there's just, calls to actions here. They're just unaligned, which again doesn't look great. Try and get that kind of stuff ironed out. Then you've got a call to action in the left where they probably had it in the right because people's eyes are more drawn to the right than they are on the left. And, this image could have been over on the left if it needs to be there at all. And, again, you've got one little logo here, which I'm sure, obviously that's maybe the leading body or, the main company or whatever. But it's just taking up a lot of space for a wee tiny logo like that. And then look at the size of that footer. Does it need to be that big? Absolutely not. So it does look like something, from, 2007 or something, where there's a lot of space taken up. I think a lot more minimalistic, up-to-date fonts, better imagery. And I think, in all honesty, good images can make a average looking website look really good, whereas shite that's on there, like overstretched images, can make a reasonably good looking website just look amateur. And I think it's those small attentions to detail that you really need to be looking at. Now, I've also put in to Ahrefs, as I say, it's one of the first things I do. This website's never really ranked for anything, and there's probably a reason for that. Given the cartoon and just the layout and everything else, it could be a lot more condensed and a lot better. Obviously, over and above that, you need to start building links, which you're not doing, and get a lot more content on there. You've got your browsing your fans, you've got your blog here, but what's actually been put in the blog, there's obviously not a lot, and it may be a website that's still to get all of that done. This might just be a mock-up. I have no idea. But obviously I've got to look at it and take into consideration this could be someone's live website, and a blog with nothing on it is not going to rank that well. So I think, just the small finer details will help you going forwards, in all honesty. And just pay attention to those and hopefully don't take anything personally. But, obviously we're asked our opinion, and I think the website is pretty poor, in all honesty.
Yeah, I think you got to always have a focus of who your target audience is, right? So, the thing that hit me the most is just that logo. Because, I mean, obviously, if you you just recently started to manage the marketing at this place, you need to say to these guys, well, this is like business fundamentals. Who are we targeting here? And if you're going to be targeting these business executives who are looking to lease, say, cars or company cars, whatever it may be, right? They're going to be looking at that, and they're just probably going to laugh, if I'm honest, right? It's just how they're going to perceive it. So I think with any kind of decision you make from a design perspective, you got to think of the end user, because that ultimately, these are the people who are going to be converting on your website, right? So you always have to be kind of seeing it from their perspective. But yeah, I mean, definitely get a complete redesign of that site, and you can bring in the points that we were mentioning, and then also to kind of build the SEO on top of that, starting to create more content, targeting the main keywords and building some more links, because there's nothing there.
On this subject of obviously ripping in and insulting websites, I'd be curious to know the public's input if we were to literally roast a website alive and give it a proper good insult. Just curious to know if someone would find that offensive, they would find it funny, interesting. Obviously, we have to sometimes bite our tongue when we see websites, and not suggesting that Tyrese is one of those, but we have also we also get feedback, and people have said, listen, I'd love it if you just ladled in and just ripped it apart. And curious to know what you guys think, if that would be a good part of the show where we absolutely roast a couple of websites as well, like no holds barred. So let us know in the live chat or in the comments. But next website for us to have a look at is from Facebook user. Sorry, the name is not there. Probably someone we know, but aalogics.com.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I'm going to share my screen for this one, and let's go right into this. So obviously this is web and mobile development. At least that's what it's saying from the kind of title tags here. So we've got enterprise e-commerce solutions. So we've got some web developers here for the Magento platform. And, I do wonder in terms of kind of like when I see this kind of thing on websites, when it's just the entire above the fold is, just this kind of animation. I mean, it is in grayscale, right? So there's no real much color to that. I think, if you're designing or developing a website, people want to see color, right? They don't want to see things that look too bland. Anyway, that's just something I picked up on. But let's just go down here. So you've got all of this kind of stuff here about what kind of offerings you do, and you do things like SEO as well, and you do a bunch of stuff. That is a lot of services for kind of one company or one website to do, but it's mainly kind of Magento web development. You've got your featured work here. I would always put kind of featured work kind of higher up, or like some kind of testimonial, because you got to think as well that a lot of times people aren't going to scroll to the bottom of the web page. I think the footer here could do a lot better. It doesn't scream professional to me, looking at this kind of like globe in red with like the dotted kind of bits of the countries. You've got a chat bot here, obviously, and let's have a look just to see here. So our blog, it's quite, I feel like things could be condensed. It could be a lot more minimalistic, and you've got the transparent header as well from the homepage, but obviously we can see it's got color now. I think just in general, there's a bit of kind of branding issues. I think it's got to be a lot more consistent with your branding, because that's really important when you're trying to increase your brand awareness, right? You want people to kind of see you and know, exactly what your company is and things like that. This header here, it's hard to read because now the header's gone from this kind of bluish color and it's gone to gray, and you've got the text being white, and that's really hard to read. I have trouble reading that unless you hover over it. And you've got to think to yourself, because stuff like this, and somebody's going to say, well, why should this person build or design my website, when you're kind of scrolling down here and you can see that there's the UX isn't that great. The colors are a bit off. So those are things I would say right off the bat. Craig, have you got anything to add?
Yeah, so I'm going to come at it from a different angle, not in terms of the design, look, or feel, because I don't want to keep reiterating what you've already said. You've made a lot of good points there. Now, these guys are based out in Pakistan, and that's all good and well. I'm assuming I'm going to share my screen actually, just so you can see the data. So obviously your address says you're in Pakistan. And again, first thing I do, see what's going on organic keywords wise, organic traffic wise, backlinks. And these are things that you have done with some degree of success. You've been around since 2017 and things have been up and down and up and down. And, you probably peaked April this year and things have taken a little slump. However, where is your target audience? And I think this is a mistake some people do make. And these guys are based in Pakistan and obviously thinking, yeah, I'm going to get a Pakistan server and all that kind of stuff. Now, their target audience, I'm going to assume, would probably be anyone out with Pakistan, to be honest. Americans, UK people all over Europe are going to be your target audience because, we all need, Magento development and stuff like that. So why are you hosting your website in Pakistan? And, the bulk of your traffic's coming from Pakistan. You want to be making sure that if you are going to be putting any time and effort into this website and obviously taking time to do blog posts and try and drive traffic to it, that you try and make sure that you get an audience that's likely to buy from you. Because obviously we all want to target, even people in the UK want to target the American audience. There's more money there. Why would we want to, target somewhere where people are not paying a lot of money? And I think that's something that you could probably do better, and maybe something you've not already thought about. Because you're naturally based in Pakistan, you've probably went, yeah, I'll just host here and it makes sense to do so. But there's a bigger, badder world out there with a lot more money, and I think that's just another angle that you might want to consider in terms of, being able to attract more business and who is your ideal audience. And I'm going to guess it's everyone out with Pakistan. You want to make a name for yourself, so consider that as well. And obviously I think you do need a bit more content in terms of your blog posts alongside the kind of on page things that Itamar suggested. There's a few color problems, branding problems and stuff like, well, not problems as such, but tweaks that you can make to obviously go on and scale up that business. So hopefully that helps you in some way. Next up, we have Mr. Kevin Woodbury, and it's a UK website, securityalarms.co.uk.
All right, securityalarms.co.uk.
Yeah, it's a nice domain name to have.
It is.
Or how much you paid for that, or how long you've had it for. All
right.
Yeah, you go for it.
Yeah, so I had the exit intent pop up here already because I went to share the screen. But let's see here. So obviously, I think this kind of, the way this site looks, it looks quite good. I'm not sure about this cartoon, but I'm just gonna pretend that's not there. Obviously, you're doing security alarms, burglar alarms, things like that. What is this? It's like going back to the other one. It's like, think of kind of who the target audience is right off the bat. Obviously, the homepage content itself, it's quite comprehensive. It could do with a bit more images maybe, or things like that. And obviously the color, it's quite bland. It's like there's just a gradient here. I mean, it looks nice, but what really is the point? But you've got this calculator here, so you can type in your postcode and this and that. Let's just have a look at what else we've got on here. So you've got some guides as well. So you may be able to target different keywords. I think you need more content here as well. It seems to me like there's quite a bit of thin content in terms of the kind of main pages that you've got going on. This one's a bit better. Craig, anything to add?
Yes, always. So I'm going to share my screen. So I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to contradict what you just said there. I actually think having that little guy is not such a bad thing, the security alarm website. Now, I don't think it's for every website, but sometimes, what would you put there? Like, what else can you put there? What do you want? A bold security guard there? Or, that's the thing. I think, it's one of those hard ones where you look at that and you go, what can be there? Do you want a guy's face or some, security guard guy, or, just a house with an alarm, which is bland? So I think in certain instances, the cartoon thing is not always a bad thing, just like a little brand guy or whatever you want to call it. I don't think that's a bad thing. The same way SEMrush have a little fox and stuff like that. So I think sometimes it can be a good thing and kind of can make it feel a little bit more welcome, because people are looking for burglar alarms and potentially have been burgled, and you don't want to go on there and see a big bald guy or something drastic. It's just quite a wee friendly wee face. So I think in that instance, I think it's fine. I would ask myself when you said that, I'd be like, well, what? You've got a point, but what else do you put there? What would you put? I mean, that is the thing. What would you put there? And you're going to say, well, I'm not sure. Is it a logo? Is it a whatever? So sometimes I think a brand mascot is not a bad wee thing, and making that wee guy up is a good thing. But going on, I think the website looks clean and tidy. Backlink wise, again, you're building links. You're ranking for 3,200 words. Things are progressing as you would expect. Well, maybe not as you would expect, but you're getting decent traffic. And obviously we know that Ahrefs is telling us a figure, and that you're getting a hell of a lot more than that. And obviously when we go to your organic keywords, we see that you do rank nationwide for best wire alarm system or wire alarm system, burglar alarm cost, and a whole bunch of other search terms, which are clearly not that easy to rank for. So I think you've got some good stuff there, and you're obviously touching on page 1 for burglar alarm, which I think with a couple more links and stuff like that, you could certainly shoot up there and capture some of that. But overall, I don't think it's a bad job. I think what you said, Itamar, in terms of some of the kind of main pages are potentially bland from the outside looking in, a bit thin in content. But I think where it's relevant, they have dug deep and they've got the landing pages on there, and they've got enough for them to rank. Now, of course, you could probably add to those slightly, tweak them slightly, run them through Surfer, SEO, or Page Optimizer Pro, just to make sure that they're fine-tuned. But overall, I think the website's fairly clean, tidy, and performing reasonably well. Of course, more backlinks, more content, more of the same is always going to be required, but I don't think it's a particularly bad job at all. I quite like it, and I just think it's clean, tidy, and to the point. So going back to what I was saying earlier, Itamar, what would you put there, in your opinion, if it wasn't the wee brand mascot? Because it's a hard one.
Yeah, 100%. It is a hard one, and I think you're asking for the critique. I think, Kevin, the site's really good. To be honest, it looks clean, like Craig said. But I think it's one of those ones where it's personal preference. So if I'm trying to get a burglar alarm or something, maybe I'd want to see like what the device kind of looks like, or something like that, like the device that you're fitting on people's homes. But like Craig mentioned as well, if you have been burgled, you might not want to see that kind of something to kind of put you off. So in some instances it works. I think it's just a case by case kind of thing. It's obviously a very minor detail, so I wouldn't be spending too long thinking about that kind of stuff. But generally speaking, I think the site needs a little bit of tweaks. I think, like Craig mentioned, more content, more links, but obviously think about what else you can do. You know, can you incorporate other types of content? Can you incorporate videos, maybe showing people how your systems are installed, things like that, that will make it easier for people to want to trust you and also to want to purchase their alarms from you guys. So that's just something to keep in mind, to see how you can weave in other types of content onto your main landing pages. But overall, I think it's a pretty good site, very clean.
Yeah, that's good job. Tommy Finnan and Ryan Houghton, you guys need to get a room. Every live chat, they're always on there. Good to see you guys though, in all seriousness. Facebook user, so the guy who had the AA Logics website, he's saying that this particular URL here is not indexing Magento migration page. Can we have a look at that? Let's have a look and see what's going on.
Is that maybe in case as well, just to start with, have you tried to request indexing if you're from like Google Search Console? That's
also, let us know when you migrated over. That is also, so let us know about that before we have a look at that one. So we'll jump into Harris's website. Good to see you, Harris. So defense attorneys.
Right. So you see, I always wonder like about these exact match domains, and it's like, you know, like you can understand why some people get it, but you know, it's good. It's difficult for me to type, man. There's so many T's, so many S's, but I'm gonna do my best. I keep having to go back to the tab defenseattorneyseattle.com, right?
It's attorneys.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, you see, I've already spelt it wrong. Defense attorney. Wow. Okay. This is the hardest part of the live of the live stream, having to put in these domains. All right. So I've got it here, and I'll share my screen so you can see. Right. So obviously this is a very serious looking site. I mean, you've got the, you know, the like, you know, very law, you know, it does kind of what it says on the tin, really. Just by looking at the site, it does look like something very serious. Obviously, you've got right up here your kind of first CTA is a free consultation. You know, I would change up this CTA just because I think that's too bland. You know, change up the CTA so that people want to, you know, tell them what they're getting. I just feel like submit your messages quite bland. You know, you don't want to be like the stereotypical attorney, right? That's quite boring and doesn't do too much. So obviously, try maybe just have a think about that. You've got testimonials here. Obviously, you've not got any images here. So to me, that, you know, I can think, well, who the hell's Larry King? Obviously, you've got their profiles under here, which don't link to anything, right? So, you know, do you need to have social channels for your testimonials? Not really. Because if I was looking at this now, I would honestly just say, I think that this is fake. I think that you just kind of added it in there. These random people with these random testimonials. I may be wrong, but, you know, that's just how it seems. And obviously, you know, you've got testimonials here. Do you really need more testimonials pretty much right below it? That's something to also keep in mind. And you do have blog posts here and, you know, essential tips for long distance parenting in COVID. I mean, you know, you're talking about here about traffic, role of law. Okay, I can see that this one is like related to defense attorneys and lawyers and whatever, but, you know, is this really relevant? Is this a kind of post that you need? I don't know. I'm not an attorney, but, you know, like, why is this site talking about traffic, right? Obviously, you've got admin creating all your content. I would always have that, you know, as a name, give names to people. You know, when you talk about EAT from Google side, it's good to actually have the people who are creating this content, you know, giving them a bio, giving them an image, maybe linking to social media channels, things like that. Obviously, your blog posts are fairly thin, right? There's not too much on there. It's just, you know, bits of text. And I feel like in that sense, there's a lot that you can add to your blogs, especially if you're trying to rank certain long tail keywords and things like that. And that's, I mean, in terms of the kind of first impressions, that's what I've got down. Craig, what do you think?
So again, I'm going to share my screen. So same as you know, I think the call to action could be jazzed up a little bit. here. Also, like your email address, grey on darker grey, quite easy to miss, and also the positioning of that is not great. Now going down, I think the website looks okay. I think Itamar's got a great point. Is this fake? Is it not? Just with a head. And I know 100% get that clients will probably not want their face on there anyway. But if that was the case, I'd probably do away with the heads full stop and have something else, just text only or whatever. But, you've got these guys have got Facebook and Twitter and stuff like that. And if I click on it, it takes me to no one. So already I'm thinking it's fake. Out with the egg shape or the kind of silhouette of a head. If I click on it, there's nothing happening there. So it just smacks of fake. This doesn't need to be here. I think it's just a call to action for no reason. Again, as Itamar says, that doesn't need to be there. It's just repetition of more testimonials. Absolutely non-required. Now, I think, your space here is wasted. Do you need to take up this amount of space to showcase your logo, your phone number, and your address? Absolutely not. And the main thing I'm going to say here is, and I get it all the time when I'm training people, this looks to me like someone's blogging for the sheer hell of blogging. Now, as you see, Itamar, like COVID-19 has major effects on traffic today. That's the header. That's the URL. That's in the title tag. Who's going to Google that? Absolutely no one. It's a nothing blog post. It's just garbage. It's just waffle that's going on there. And I think, when you blog, it should have been something like employment law in one of the areas that you talk about, or landlord stuff, or something that's a search term, something that's relevant. No one cares. In reality, we all know the streets are quiet. We don't need that reiterated through a legal blog post as such. And I don't want to be seen as insulting, but it's only 17 views. And this as well, essential tips for long distance parenting. Who wants to take parental advice from a lawyer is what I would be asking. What I want from a lawyer is, if I'm in the middle of a divorce, can you help me? Give me some tips, advice, tell me something. Or if I'm in employment problems or whatever, I want to see blog posts about that. I don't want to see generic garbage, written about parenting. Now, I know that you may do some kind of children's panel or whatever, legally, but this is too broad, giving parenting advice on there. Now, you may be a great parent and you may have some amazing tips. Of course, I'm not disputing that whatsoever, but I think in terms of content and keeping it relevant and stuff that you should have on there, it should be something like criminal lawyers in a specific area and, personal injury claims in the specific area. These should be what your blog posts are about, not the stuff that you're doing. So I think you can do better with that. Also, looking at the backlink profile, I'm going to assume that this is an expired domain name that's just been thrown up, and potentially, you're starting out. It does look like a new website, and you are getting some keywords pulling through. You do have a nice healthy backlink profile, a nice DR of 33. I just think you need to work harder on your landing pages and all of the kind of other stuff around about the kind of stuff that you actually do, rather than kind of generic blog posts is where I would be critical of this particular website. So there you go. Hopefully that wasn't too hard, and as I say, certainly not meant to be offensive, but it's just to obviously get the point home. So we have 10 minutes left. So Tyrese is saying, agreed, rebrand coming in the next few months. He does appreciate the feedback, and you can find him at Garvey Digital. Kevin Woodbury, I wish I seen that. Don't hold back. Nah, I'm only kidding. Your website was all right. So obviously in the feedback, honesty is the best policy. With constructive comments is always good. Manish has a website. He's new, and his website is myhealthandfitness.in. So let's go for that.
All right, cool. So let me show my screen and have a look at this site. So right off the bat, this is a health and fitness blog, obviously, right? So we've got here best oils. Is this an affiliate site? Let's find out. Is it? Let's see. No, actually, I don't think it is. I think it's just generally just a health and fitness blog. So that surprised me, to be honest with you. But let's see. I mean, right off the bat, you've got a space. This space, between the T and the question mark. You don't need the space. Obviously, title case and this kind of thing, and a space between keto and the bracket 2020. It's just, just simple things that if I was to look at this, right, on a website, I wouldn't click it. Maybe I'm just really harsh about the kind of content I consume. But, generally speaking, you've got to keep that in mind, that you want to be as professional as you can be. And, the title of a post is the first thing people see, apart from the featured image. And obviously you've got some featured images here that that look quite pixelated. Obviously it looks clearer when you hover over them, sure, but I don't want to have to be hovering over the images just to kind of look at them properly, if you get what I mean. So, it's better just to have them as clear as they can be. Obviously, you've got all your categories down here, and this your homepage is pretty much, like, do we need that? Is that something we need from the homepage? It's just all of the different categories and a bunch of blogs. So it's kind of like, a resource page, really, of just different blog posts you have. Do you really need that? You could change it more, maybe to be about you. The site's called myhealthandfitness.in. So we don't know who you are, right? The website's but there's no names here. There's nothing for me to know, who's writing this. But let's have a look real quick to see if you see, obviously here, the about us, right? The email you've got here, blogging108@gmail.com. That, what am I supposed to, if I'm trying to get health and fitness advice, why would I email blogging108@gmail.com, right? So that's obviously something to think about. But in terms of your categories, there's a lot of things here with just nothing in there. I'm pretty sure most of them. And obviously these category pages as well. I mean, we've spoken about this in the past, Craig. I'm not a fan of adding these pages. You're just getting more URLs that are just going to be, crawled. You're wasting your crawl budget, and it's just, there's really no point. And obviously you can see from a UX perspective that people aren't finding anything here. So, why have them there in the first place? So that's something else to keep in mind. You see, like a lot of these pages have pretty much nothing on them. So Google's going to see that if it crawls it, and they'll think, well, is this something that we need to index? Is this something that we need to rank high in terms of health and fitness? And obviously you're getting into this category where it's the your money, your life kind of site. So that is going to be really important to get yourself, explain who you are on the homepage. You need to make sure that your name is on as the author of all of these posts instead of just by author, right? Because, Google's going to have a very hard time thinking who is author with the blank profile picture, and, how do we know that they're an expert in health and fitness? So, those are just some things that I picked up right off the bat. Craig, have you got any comments?
Yes, the comment for me would just be stop what you're doing with this website. Now, obviously, you've put up your website, as Itamar said, and on the grand scheme of things, on the homepage, I was fairly excited to look at it and think that you're doing a great job here. But as Itamar, as you go through the website with all the kind of broken or non-existent content and categories that are on here, I think it's just horrendous. Going into your actual content that you do have, it's clearly a copy and paste job. Where are you getting your content from? Because obviously it's a new website, has no rankings, it has no DR, it doesn't rank for a single keyword. Now, it may only be days, weeks old, whatever, but it's alarm bells are ringing straight away. Where is the content coming from? And clearly it's coming from other people's websites. So what I would say to you is stop what you're doing, think about this properly, structure the website properly, add categories as and when they've got content, and make sure that you're writing your own content, because this is just never going to make money. It's just absolute garbage. I just don't know what you're trying to do here. It's not an affiliate website. How are you going to monetize this? What is the purpose of this website? You're talking about diarrhea during pregnancy. I mean, how the fucking hell are you going to monetize that? What is this? Like, how's it helping anyone? Like, there's nothing here. Think about what you're writing. Think about what the hell you're doing and why you're doing it. And I think that's the best piece of advice I can give you, man. Sorry, but I just think it's a poor website and a poor implementation. You may be new to blogging, but you're going to have to do some research and figure out what the hell is going on. Copying and pasting other people's stuff is just not going to work for you. You're not going to make money from it. You've no affiliate links, no pages, you've got no unique content. Where are you going with it? That's it. And I think we all have to sit back and take a look at ourselves and say, well, why am I doing this? Why are we doing this webinar? We're trying to boost our YouTube subscribers. There's always a purpose. And I just can't see what your purpose is with that. But it might be being harsh. There may be some grand plan behind it. But, that's my take from what I've seen. And there's not much else I can really say, unfortunately, other than just think again what you're doing and try and better it. So, late to the party, Luke S. Hello. Tommy Finnan, ha 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 ha. Not sure what that is. We just follow each other's people's live streams. Listen, I think you are, man. I think you are. So, look, I've just set up a server from scratch. My head is mashed, taking 5 hours. I'm paying someone to do it instead next time. Gregory Ortiz, good to see you, was commenting your live Facebook. All good here, Gregory. Hope you're well too. Crumbs, that's a bit of a roast. All very true though, Craig. Thank you, Jason, and good to see you, Jason. So thanks for popping by. So yeah, we are pretty much out of time for this week. We don't want to start with another one. But if you guys can kindly like the video, like or subscribe to the channel, and also make sure that you don't miss poor Itamar. His link to his channel is directly, it's in the first comment. Sorry, it's not the first comment, that's a lie. It's in the YouTube description. Or you can just go to YouTube and search for Itamar Blauer, and you will see Mr. Blauer on YouTube, and try and help him, as we are all trying to grow our audiences here. That is the main purpose of this. And we will be back again next week. Next Wednesday, same time, we'll be back again. Tyrese, he's wanting to know when the next one is. If you've got any more websites, please do let us know next week, and we will certainly cast our eyes over them. But Itamar, anything to add to the end here?
Yeah, I think you summarized it quite nicely. Obviously, these sessions, we try and add value to your guys' websites, when you want feedback, and like we mentioned at the beginning. So if you just joined, obviously it's good to get different people's perspectives. And obviously we try and hit it at different angles. So we try and look at it either from branding, from SEO, checking it on tools like Ahrefs, seeing, how the website's doing and things like that. So, if you enjoy the content, as Craig said, like the video and subscribe to both my channel and Craig's channel, and we will see you in the next one.
Cheers.